What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, fight of the night in Dana's eyes, also my eyes.
Yeah.
Petr Yan, Cory Sandhagen, blown away at the skill and heart of both gentlemen. Spectacular performance. Cory Sandhagen was doing extremely well in the first and second, and I said, man, my prediction might be wrong here. The Sandman might get the job done. But in true Petr Yan fashion, he slowly and methodically wore his opponent down. And honestly, Cory Sandhagen has one of the best chins in the UFC, and I did not know that until last night.
Yeah, I said it last night to you. Nothing is more scary than Petr Yan come round 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when he's downloaded all of your moves, and now he's about to start attacking. So he's become quite the entertaining fighter. I love seeing him at bantamweight. In my opinion, he's the best bantamweight on the planet. But Cory Sandhagen showed us that he is absolutely a top 3, top 2 guy in the division. And with his performance against TJ Dillashaw, that was close. With his performance against Petr Yan last night, that was close. You know, Peter did edge it out, and I think after the first couple of rounds, I was like, oh God, Peter's going to have to win the next 3 rounds in a row, and that's exactly what he did.
Yep.
You know, Cory Sandhagen looked like $1 million in the first few rounds, but it's very similar to what he did in the TJ Dillashaw fight. He looked amazing in the first couple of rounds. If he could take that style and that pressure and that speed and all of that into the later rounds, or even just into the 3rd and 4th round, he would be winning these fights against Petr Yan, TJ Dillashaw, you name them. And I just feel like Cory Sandhagen's young. His time is coming. Maybe Petr Yan is the guy for right now, but credit to both these guys because they put on a ridiculous fight.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight. And if you watch the fighting styles between Sandhagen and Yan, you can see why Yan is able to crank it up after the 3rd round and Sandhagen slows down a bit. And it's my concern about TJ Dillashaw against Yan as well, because they both move a lot.
Yeah.
You know, they're side to side and lateral movements and switching stances. Petr Yan is he's bread and butter. Hands up, blocking punches, returning with some counter strikes, hitting you with big body kicks. He doesn't do a lot that would zap his energy, and he's very economical in the first couple rounds to try to, until he can download, as you said, what his opponent's going to do, and then use it against them in the later rounds when they're tired and he's not.
Yeah.
So it was an incredible performance. I think Petr Yan, even though you can call him the interim champion, you can call him the guy that does the illegal knee, you can call him whatever you want to call him, but I think he's the best fighter in bantamweight in the world right now. And I think when he fights Aljo, I think it's going to be business as usual and more of the same. Cory Sandhagen has nothing to hang his head on here. He's just a couple small tweaks away from being the champion, and he's still on the right side of 30. So a lot of potential. The problem is he's living in an era where Petr Yan is the same age. He's just a very young champion, one of the few champions in his 20s. So once Yan reclaims that belt, which I believe he will, we could see him have a nice long title run.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a single fight fan on the planet that would say that they don't want to see those two run it back. You know,
right.
Petr Yan won the fight. I agree with that. I was a little off on the 49-46.
Yeah, I thought 48-47.
Yeah, I think that for sure Cory Sandhagen won the 1st round and the 2nd round. You know, when you look at the 3rd round, 4th round, and 5th round, even Cory Sandhagen knows that he didn't do enough to win that fight. He said it. He said just that to Daniel Cormier. I don't think I did enough. And that shows a lot of maturity. It shows that he really understands what he did wrong and his shortcomings in his game. He's going to come back. He's a monster. And nobody is as electric of a striker as him in the bantamweight division, which is kind of bananas to say because you've got TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
Cody Garbrandt's been in there for a long time. Dominic Cruz has always been a mover and thrown some pretty unique strikes. But Cory Sandhagen's doing things better than almost all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody throws a jumping knee better than him, more accurately, I should say.
He uses that like just a jab.
Yeah,
it's
every
like
round.
It's crazy.
Every round he throws one. And his moving back and forth is really good. A lot of good things to say about him. But the night belonged to Petr Yan, and there's plenty good to say about him too. When he landed that combination in the 3rd round where he threw maybe it was like a 1-2-3, and then he spun with the momentum from the hook and then landed that spinning back elbow forearm type of strike, and then finish with another hook on top of that. I was like, oh my God, that's one for the highlight reel. If he finishes the fight like this, it's ridiculous. Credit to Sandhagen for having that ridiculous chin. But After that happened, I was like, okay, he understands what he's going to do now. He's like one of those dogs that you can't ever, take a step back.
Yeah.
He's just going to move forward now, and he's going to keep picking apart Cory Sandhagen. And while Cory did have some good moments later in the fight, the majority of the time in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round belonged to Peter, and that's why he got his hand raised.
And, that's what you see a lot in Muay Thai and less in MMA, which is in Muay Thai, a step backwards is not a thing.
Yeah,
that's not
exist.
A move in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
It's you claim an inch of real estate and you don't give it up.
Right.
And Cory Sandhagen kind of moves a lot laterally, especially in the 5th round. I think he was very tired. He was circling out. And Petr Yan, once he takes an inch from you, he doesn't give it back. It's like Makhachev or Hamzat, a great grappler, that once they take your leg away, that's out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yan does the same thing on the feet. Once I back you up an inch closer to the cage, you're not getting that inch back.
Right.
And he just very methodical. He walks you down. He's not afraid to be in striking range because he's so comfortable in his defense, his checking, his slipping, his counter striking. So he's a very tough opponent for anybody. I feel kind of bad for Cory right now because I feel like he's kind of in no man's land because Dillashaw is coming back, but likely they won't run that fight back again. Dillashaw, if he comes back and gets a win, will probably be fighting the winner of Aljo Yan, which I think is going to be Yan. So it kind of leaves Sandhagen up in the air. Maybe you give him a guy within the top 7 or something like that, see if he can get a win, and then string 1 or 2 more together and be back in there for the title. But the good news is, as I said, he's on the right side of 30, so I think there's still a lot of great years ahead of him. But he just happens. It's like Daniel Cormier, John Jones. He happens to be fighting in an era where there's a young, super dominant champion.
Yeah, and the only people that are going to get the jump on Cory Sandhagen and have so far are people that have literally, after the fight takes place, touched UFC gold. So
yeah,
he's only fighting the best, and he's only losing by a close margin to the best. So he has the potential to beat those guys on any given night. I personally think if he would have taken the skills and the speed and everything that he had in round 1 and 2 and took it into one of the 3 rounds later in the fight last night, he would have gotten his hand raised. He would have got the belt. But he didn't quite do it. He knows that, and he's going to address those things. He's with the right team. He's with the right people around him, and he's been a problem for a long time. People are just now starting to understand just how dangerous he is. And I think we'll see him back in title fights again. I don't think the fact that he's had 2 title fights already and lost to a lot of the people that are all right there as well still is going to hinder his chances at ever fighting for a title again. He's still so young. Just let him go relax a little bit. Let him keep developing those skills because he's a nightmare for everybody, including the guys that have beaten him, because I don't think Petr Yan will tell you that was an easy fight last night. TJ Dillashaw definitely said it wasn't an easy fight and the only one that got out easy against him was Aljamain Sterling, but that was a sort of you caught me moment, right? Yeah. And I think Cory has fixed some of the mistakes from that fight and will come back stronger if he ever gets the chance against Aljamain Sterling.
For sure.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you haven't already and you like MMA content, a subscribe to this channel is always much appreciated. And if you listen to audio podcasts, check us out there as well. The Barnhill Brothers audio versions of these videos are available wherever you listen to podcasts. See you in the next one. Have a great day.
Peace.